The coffee that changed everything. Sarah wiped down the counter for the third time that morning. The cafe was quiet, just the way she liked it before the lunch rush. She'd been working double shifts for months now, saving every penny she could. Her dream of opening her own tailoring shop felt so close, yet still so far away. The bell above the door chimed. An elderly man shuffled in, his coat worn thin at the elbows, his shoes held together with duct tape. He approached the counter slowly, his hands trembling as he reached into his pocket. "How much for a small coffee?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. "$3.50, Sarah replied gently. The old man counted his coins twice. $2.35. His face fell, and he started to turn away. "Wait," Sarah called out. "Actually, we have a special today. Small coffees are $2. The man's eyes lit up, though something in them told Sarah he knew what she was doing. He nodded gratefully and handed over his coins. Sarah poured him the largest small coffee she'd ever made, and added a blueberry muffin to the plate. "The muffin comes free with the coffee special," she said with a warm smile. The old man's eyes glistened. "Thank you, young lady. You have a kind heart." He sat at the corner table for hours, making that one coffee last. Before he left, he approached Sarah again. "What's your name, dear?" "Sarah." "Sarah," he repeated. "I'm Harold. You remind me of my late wife." She had the same kindness in her eyes. He paused. "May I ask what you do besides working here?" Something about his genuine interest made Sarah open up. "I'm a seamstress. I make clothes at night after my shifts. I'm saving to open my own shop one day." Harold smiled, a knowing look in his weathered face. "Never give up on that dream, Sarah. Never." He left, and Sarah thought that would be the last time she'd see him. But Harold came back the next day, and the day after that. Same order, same corner table. And each time, Sarah made sure his special price coffee came with something extra. They talked during Sarah's breaks. Harold told her about his life, his late wife, the family he'd lost touch with. Sarah shared her struggles, her dreams, her designs. He became the grandfather she'd never had. 3 weeks later, Harold didn't show up. Sarah worried throughout her shift. When he missed the second day, she felt a knot in her stomach. By the third day, she was scared something had happened to him. On the fourth day, a man in an expensive suit walked into the cafe. Everything about him screamed money and success. He looked around, then approached Sarah. "Are you Sarah, the seamstress?" Her heart raced. "Yes. Is everything okay?" The man's eyes were red like he'd been crying. "I'm David, Harold's son. I came to thank you." "Harold? Is he passed away 3 days ago. Peacefully, in his sleep." David's voice cracked. "I hadn't spoken to my father in 5 years. We had a falling out over business, over money, over stupid things that didn't matter. But 2 weeks ago he called me. He told me about you, about your kindness, about how you treated him with dignity when the world looked right through him." Sarah's eyes filled with tears. David continued, "My father was a wealthy man, Sarah. He didn't need to count coins for coffee. After my mother died, he wanted to see what kind of world he was leaving behind. He wanted to know if kindness still existed. He walked these streets for months, testing people, and most failed that test. But not you." He pulled out an envelope. "My father left instructions. He wanted you to have this." Inside was a check that made Sarah gasp, $50,000. But there was more, a deed to a small storefront property paid in full. And a letter. "Dear Sarah," it read. "You showed an old man that goodness still exists. You gave when you had little to give. You saw a person when others saw nothing. This is not charity. This is an investment in kindness. Use it to build your dream. And remember, the way you treated a stranger with $3 is worth more than all the money in the world. Thank you for reminding me why life is worth living. Your friend, Harold." Sarah couldn't stop the tears. David smiled through his own. "There's one more thing," David said. "I run a fashion company. I've seen your designs. Harold showed me photos. I'd like to offer you a partnership. Your talent, my resources. We'll build something beautiful. Something that would make my father proud." 6 months later, Sarah's boutique opened on Main Street. The sign read, "Harold's Legacy, Custom Tailoring with Heart." Inside, in a frame by the register, was a photo of an old man in a worn coat, holding a coffee cup, smiling at the camera. And on the wall hung a small plaque. The true measure of a person is how they treat those who can do nothing for them. Sarah never forgot that lesson, and she made sure that every Saturday morning, free coffee and muffins were available to anyone who needed them. Because kindness, she learned, is never wasted. It comes back to you in ways you could never imagine. Sometimes the smallest act of compassion can change two lives at once, the one who receives it and the one who gives it.